How relevant is it to buy a Nintendo Switch Lite in 2025? That's exactly the question that got me thinking, especially now that the second-gen Switch is coming out. I've been ignoring this console for way too long, but after playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Retroid Pocket 5, I just couldn't resist anymore and bought the Nintendo Switch Lite in blue. Now the conclusions I'll make at the end of the video might disappoint some of you, or maybe even convince others to finally grab this console. So stick around till the end and let's figure out together whether the Nintendo Switch Lite is still worth buying in 2025. Let's start with the unboxing and take a look at what's in the box. The console arrived in its standard packaging. This is the Japanese version. By the way, I bought this Nintendo Switch Lite from AliExpress at a really good price, 140 euros or about $160. It's absolutely safe and very convenient with fast and free shipping. And to make your purchase even more affordable, you can use my promo codes during checkout to get an extra discount. You'll find the link to the console and all the details in the description box. It's completely brand new, and it even came with a power adapter for European outlets. Inside the box, along with the console, I found some promotional flyers and a power brick to charge the device. As you can see, the power brick has an undetachable cable with a standard USB Type-C connector on the end. When using the plug adapter, it's definitely not the most compact charger out there. Now let's take the console out of the bag and have a closer look. It's got this amazing blue color with white buttons and analog sticks. I really like this color combo. The build quality is excellent and the whole thing just looks great. Let's power it on and go through the initial setup together. I'm choosing English as the system language. Since I live in Spain, I'm setting my region to Europe. Then comes a screen with some important info. Now I need to connect to my home Wi-Fi network. Connection successful. Now I select the time zone. Madrid in my case. Great! Next step is to either create a new user or sign with an existing one. I'll go ahead and create a new user. Done. Setup complete. Now I press the home button. The UI is super simple, minimalistic and easy to navigate. I really like that. First thing I need to do is check for updates and install the latest firmware. And before we continue, please like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. This helps me promote the channel. Also, you can click the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. Thank you for your attention. Let's continue. This console is much smaller and simple than the main model, but it still delivers an amazing gaming experience. The screen is a 5.5-inch touchscreen with HD resolution. I specifically chose the Lite version instead of the OLED one, because my eyes are really sensitive to PWM flicker, and I try to avoid those kinds of displays whenever I can. The console weighs under 300 grams, which is awesome. It's a truly portable handheld. The battery life is rated between 3 and 7 hours. The Switch Lite can be connected to a TV for full screen play, but it does have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC and a gyroscope to enhance gameplay. It's also compatible with regular Switch accessories, including third-party gamepads. The plastic has a matte, slightly textured finish that kind of reminds me of cardboard or thick paper. It feels really nice in the hands. It's light enough that you can play for hours without your hands getting tired. On the front are the controls. The buttons are slightly smaller than those on the other handhelds, but still very comfortable to press. I never had any trouble using them. The D-pad has a good amount of resistance and uses a rubber membrane. It feels satisfying to use. The analog sticks are actually very similar to the ones on my R36S, though they feel more calibrated and precise during gameplay. The bumpers have a short, quiet click, which I really like. The triggers are set at a different level than the bumpers when you look at the console from the side, and that actually helps with ergonomics and makes them easier to use. Your finger naturally slides down to the trigger and then back up when needed. On top, there are the power and volume buttons, plus a headphone jack and the game cartridge slot. It's easy to open and lets you swap out games quickly. On the bottom, there is a USB Type-C port and a microSD card slot. On the back, there is a big Nintendo Switch logo. It looks awesome. Overall, the console is very slim and compact, especially when compared to something like the Asus handheld. Now let's test out a couple of games I also picked up from AliExpress and see how comfortable the gameplay feels and how good the screen looks while playing. Playing games on the Nintendo Switch Lite is super comfortable. The console doesn't heat up much, you barely notice any warmth, and it feels great in your hands. Honestly, this is one of the best handhelds I've reviewed so far. In terms of comfort and game variety, I'd put it right up there with the Asus ROG Ally. But with one big advantage, the Switch Lite is much lighter and holds a charge for longer, so you can play for hours without needing to plug it in. As for the games themselves, buying them from the official online store usually means paying full price, which isn't always great. That's why I recommend checking out AliExpress like I did, especially during sales and if you use promo codes. Another option is buying games secondhand through apps like Wallapop. You can find just about any title or even full collections at reasonable prices. If Wallapop isn't available in your country, there is probably a similar platform for buying and selling used items. This makes the Switch Lite a super affordable and practical console that lets you play modern games without breaking the bank. A lot of people trade or sell games they've already finished, so there are plenty of good deals out there. It's a great way to catch up on all the popular titles that have come out for the Nintendo Switch over the years. So if you don't have the budget for the new Nintendo Switch 2 and for whatever reason like me, you never owned the first-gen model, then grabbing a Switch Lite in 2025 or even 2026 is a really smart move. Trust me, just like me, you'll be spending hours diving into awesome games. And not all of them are paid games either. The online store has a few decent free titles. One of my favorites is Sky. It's also available on smartphones, but it's way more comfortable and fun to play on the Switch. So here is my conclusion. If you want to enjoy modern games on a Nintendo Switch, the simplest and most budget-friendly option is to get a Switch Lite. It gives you smooth, enjoyable gameplay without wasting time or money, and with access to used games, you can play pretty much any game you want for way less. Believe me, no emulation handheld will give you the same level of smooth performance and stability as the original Nintendo Switch, and those handhelds usually cost 2 or 3 times more anyway. So yeah, the Nintendo Switch Lite is still a totally relevant and solid purchase in 2025. And don't forget, you can grab one from AliExpress using the link in the description box. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I wish you pleasant nostalgia and successful completion of your favorite games.